I was planning the title for today, I was thinking it would be something along the lines of carbon calculations is frightening, it worries us, but it's a Monday morning and I thought no one would turn up, hence calculations made simple. So we'll give it a go over the next 10 minutes or so, and hopefully I'll be able to pass on some of our experiences to ideally help you in your journey as well. So first of all, I'm Managing Director at Thomas Kneale Company Limited. We are a small company based in Manchester. We manufacture, import and distribute bedroom and bathroom textiles. That's our product range. So quite challenging in regard to carbon because we do have a global supply chain and all that's associated with that. We've been working on our sustainability journey for about 10 years now and building small blocks. It takes time, we've heard that from the panel this morning, it's not easy, but it almost needs to be done in a way where you have a look at what you can achieve, how you can advance, who you can use in your network. And I'm going to mention a few people today, particularly because in this region and in the north, there is the most fantastic set of people, networks, organisations, and we have used them significantly and they've really helped us with our journey. And one of the most special moments for us is last year, and bear in mind we're a small company, 20 people, like Castlefield, we are also employee owned. Last year we were the only organisation in Greater Manchester that won the King's Award for Enterprise in Sustainable Development. Quite remarkable really, given where we had come from just a few years earlier. So my mantra is very much, if we can do it, so can you. And that's in essence what I'm hoping to get across over the next few minutes. So just to start with, it'd be very interesting how I pitch this to understand who you are and where you're from. So firstly, could I just have a show of hands if you represent a business, if you're here from a business? Okay, so the vast majority. Of those of you who are from SMEs, so again, majority small companies, and who has so far calculated the daunting scope 3? So not quite as many. Right, perfect. That's what I was almost hoping to see. Absolutely perfect. Now, here's the point. Carbon calculations, particularly scope 3, words are inertia, fear. We've got no time in small businesses. We have no budget and we can't do it. And that's where we were a few years ago. And here are some hints and tips and things you can do to enable you to absolutely be able to do it and take away those main challenges. And I came across those not just from our experiences, but we do work with a lot of small companies in our network. They have told us similar things and we've been able to help them as well. So bear with me with this. Firstly, there's a fantastic resource called the SME Climate Hub. The SME Climate Hub is aligned to the UN's Race to Zero. So it's pretty well backed, and yet there is an incredibly tiny, this was Friday's data, 8,101 organisations, SMEs that have signed up to it, not in the Greater Manchester, not in the UK, around the world. It's tiny, and yet it's absolutely fantastic. So if you didn't know about it, go and have a look at what they can offer in terms of the resources, the tools, the information to help you get going with this. Within the tool, within the website, they have something called the normative tool. It's a carbon calculator and it's spend based. And this is where we started with scope 3. Getting hold of the information and working up information to allow you to deliver your scope 3 is challenging. But when you do spend based, what I mean by spend based, how much have you used How much have you spent procuring goods? How much have you spent upstream transportation, getting those goods to you? Your downstream transportation, getting them to your customers, employee commuting, etc., etc. How much have you spent? And you can get that information, or we got that information, in a matter of hours, sat with our head of finance. It's all in nominal codes on the system. We got the information, we put it into the portal, we have our scope 3. Now, it's not perfect, but it's a starting point. And seeing that the majority of you have not got to that point yet, go and have a look and see whether the normative tool in the SME Climate Hub is something that you can use. Something a little bit more advanced, and we've had a look at it. It's a really good alternative. It's better than normative because it asks you for a little bit more activity-based information, such as, for example, the weights of materials, is the NatWest Carbon Planning Tool. I hope I've got that title right. And just behind the seated area, we've got John Tinsley, if you can give us a big wave, from NatWest, Senior Relationship Director. There's a few people that I'll mention in the next few minutes. If you're interested to find out more about that particular one, today is about networking, today is about meeting people, having conversations and seeing who can support you. Go and have a conversation with John and you'll be able to find out more about that and see if it's appropriate for your organisation. So, moving on now, we came across, a few years ago we didn't have any idea who they were, the Greater Manchester Business Growth Hub. Wonderful organisation. They will help you. They've helped us with training, with access to finance, with skills development, all sorts. And there is a particular part of the growth company called the green economy. The green economy have become our best friends. What we do not profess to be is technical experts. We do not know the ins and outs of sustainability and environmental this and legislation that and how to, understand everything that's going on. But it's about who can help you. So a few years ago we undertook, it's fully funded, so it costs your business nothing, which is key for small organisations. As Alona said earlier, we don't have bottomless pits of money. The Journey to Net Zero programme, it's 3 days and it takes you from zero or very limited knowledge to having a really good handle, a really good grip and knowing where to go and how to apply it to your organisation. We currently have one-to-one support and we're working with Joss Bennett, who is there in black. Give a wave, Joss. Have a conversation with Joss today. The green economy have supported thousands of Greater Manchester businesses. There may be people here from other regions, I'm conscious of that. You will have your equivalents. In every region there is a green economy equivalent who are there to help you. In Greater Manchester it's funded by the Combined Authority. And what we're doing is we are now calculating scope 3 based on activity. So I'll come on to that in a minute. You have to start somewhere. I spoke about spend-based a couple of minutes ago. Spend-based will get you started, but it does have limitations. And here is how it was applied to our organisation. We came out of COVID and the pandemic and the impacts of the pandemic, and we started to grow the turnover of the organisation. And as a result of that, we spent more money on procurement, we spent more money shipping the goods, we spent more money getting those goods to our customers. And what happened with the spend-based, because it is simply a matter of pounds and pence, our emissions on scope 3 went from 7,500 tonnes of CO2e to 10,000 tonnes in 1 year. Now that was despite the fact we'd taken very significant actions in regard to recycled content in products, solar panels on the roofs of factories, taking and reducing packaging, and yet it went literally through the roof. And that's where we were quite dissatisfied. Yeah, great, it's a starting point, you have to start somewhere, but it's now time to advance this. So my next part of my guidance is split into 3 areas. Go on your own, consultancy, and mentoring and coaching. And I'll explain those in each. So in terms of on your own, we've spent the last few months building an Excel spreadsheet from ground up with every aspect of the Scope 3 categories. It's taken an enormous amount of data. We've worked significantly in our organisation, but also with our supply chain to get the data, the weight of how much cotton we're procuring, the weight of the polyester, the number of deliveries, the number of miles the deliveries have gone, and on it goes. And we've decided to do it this way only because of the fact that the green economy have supported us. Because what they've done is they've held our hand and guided us, and we've had various meetings. It's one-to-one, so it's not based on generic, it is based on Thomas Kneale and what we need. And what essentially, where this is going to go, we're hoping to have it finished in a few weeks' time, is JOS at the green economy has provided us with a whole set of emissions factors. So if you think about it very simplistically, if you buy X cotton and each tonne has an emission factor of Y, and the numbers are there, they're calculated based on government charts as well as many others. You put one into the other, you marry them up, and you get your output. So it's based on the reality of how much material we're using, how many miles the transportation is going, rather than simply we spent X and Y and Z on these various factors. And what we're doing now, and this is about how we can influence and how we can support others, we're working with Manchester Metropolitan University and the green economy to have a look at if it's possible for us to be used as a case study and a toolkit to be provided to help other organisations. So watch this space, don't know where it's going to go yet, but we're very hopeful about it. There is a tool that we know of called Compare Your Footprint that requires significant activity-based information, but it's a portal that already exists. It's got all the emission factors built in. I don't know, because I've not seen it yet, whether Rachel Shah from Swisscot is here somewhere. They've got a stand today. Charlotte, Thomas, go and have a look. They're doing a fantastic exercise with bed sheets. We just sell the stuff. Rachel's managed to work out how you can have fun today at an activity, but she can talk to you. We've had a look at it. She can go into detail to talk about Compare Your Footprint. Now, of course, there is consultancies. There is a growing number of consultancies, and for many of you, that might be the right approach to take. Essentially, you are paying for an organisation to use their expertise, their tools, their resources to support you. But crucially, you'll still need to provide a lot of data yourself. Generally speaking, they can only do with information that you have been able to provide them. So there's almost essentially a bit of an in-between there. There's how wonderful to support new startups. Ilona was talking earlier about Elevate and their journey over the last few years. Well, in the last few months, there is a new startup in the local area called Decarbonise. They are there to essentially help you by asking you questions and understanding what your needs are, and will then go and match up with the appropriate consultancy, because of course it can be a bit of a minefield. Where do you go, how do you do it? It's a free service because they will essentially make their money through a commission-based structure through placing you with the right provider for you. They do have a stand here today when you come in the room, but it's great to see that we have got Alex Booth and Ollie Myers. Alex is there. You turn around for those that are seated. Alex and Ollie set up Decarbonise very recently. We wish them really great success, and they can absolutely support you find the right consultancy if that's the route you want to go down. And finally, supplementing with mentoring, coaching. But actually this organisation provides much more than that as well. So my final shout out this morning goes to Litmus Sustainability. So Lawrence Adams and Graham Hayes are just over in that corner there, giving a very nice wave. We have had phenomenal support from Litmus. We have got a relatively new starter. We invested, it was interesting to listen to the panel a few minutes ago, we invested in a sustainability manager, Sonny, who's here with me today. He joined us 8 months ago, having studied sustainability at MMU, but we needed external expertise to help us along the way. So as well as green economy, we had fantastic support and mentoring from Litmus. They will do a full end-to-end. They can train on carbon literacy, they can support you with your carbon reduction plans, and I guess ultimately, you know, they have got their own cutting-edge tools to help you with your analysis. They can create plans, they can do the lot. So I guess what I have done in the last 10 minutes or so, and I think my time is pretty much up, is trying to provide you with some ideas and angles that we have gone at, trying to show you some of the people in the room and the organisations, what they do and how they can support you. And my final remark really is just to say, don't be scared, frightened and intimidated by it. It is quite overwhelming at the start. When you start going at it, you can break it down. Obviously, I've not talked about scopes 1 and 2 today, and that's specifically because they don't tend to be as concerning. You know, when people have the kilowatt hour data for their gas, their electricity, and so on, litres of fuel. It does seem to be scope 3 that is causing the challenges. You can absolutely do this, and I know that because we've done it. I'm here for the whole day today, as is my colleague Sonny, so if any of you want to have a conversation, you want to ask any questions, get thoughts, etc., then please do so. But otherwise, thanks so much, it's been lovely, and thank you to Ilona for having me do this little short speech. Thank you.